There's a dream vortex. The first for a long time. And it is a woman.
Who is she? The woman who will be dreams undoing.
Her name is Rose. Rose Walker.
In an alternate realm, Morpheus's jealous siblings Desire and Despair hatch a plan to take down their brother. In a shocking twist, Desire reveals they've been the masterminds behind many of the Dream Lord's suffering, exposing they had a hand in Morpheus's capture by Roderick Burgess. As their original plan to defeat their brother had failed, Desire and Despair brainstorm ways to end him permanently. The immortal beings discuss the recent emergence of the Dream Vortex, a rare and supernatural entity that has the power to destroy the dream realm. The vortex happens to be Rose Walker, an orphaned young girl completely oblivious to her supernatural identity and power. As this is the first occurrence of a dream vortex in eons, news of Rose's power spreads across the magical realms like wildfire. While taking a census of the dreaming, Lucian gets word of the vortex and relays the news to Morpheus, hoping he'd take action against the potential threat to their kingdom. To her surprise, the Lord of Dreams refuses to go after Rose, as she is yet to become an active threat. Instead, he opts to have her under surveillance and sends Matthew to keep an eye on her in the human world. After the issue has been addressed, Lucian also gives a census report and declares some nightmares and dreams are missing, the most prominent of which include 𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐸, a shape-shifting nightmare, Fiddler's Green, a pleasant dream with his own dominion, and finally, the Corinthian. Having no idea where they are, Morpheus remarks Rose may help locate them, as the vortex not only has the power to tear down their realm, but also the ability to attract powerful dreams and nightmares. As a result, now more than ever, surveillance of the vortex is of crucial importance. Over in the human world, a newly orphaned Rose struggles to find her missing brother, Jed. After their parents passed, Jed was committed to a foster home, with Rose getting no information on his whereabouts. Since then, the concerned sister has been searching for him, constantly calling service workers and following all leads to no avail. With the search taking a financial toll on her, Rose is desperate to find a job and accepts an offer from a foreign foundation looking to research her family history. Accompanied by her trusted friend Lyda, Rose flies out of her New Jersey apartment to meet the firm's CEO in England. Upon arrival, the duo is introduced to Unity, a wealthy and charming old lady. Choosing to come clean, Unity reveals the Foundation's invite was actually a ruse to get Rose there. Explaining her actions, the old lady narrates a story of her youth. It turns out Unity was plagued with encephalitis lethargica, a rare but severe illness that forces its victims into a chronic sleep-like state. As a result, she spent several decades in a coma, and during this time bore a daughter. However, the old lady had lost all contact with her child and their descendants until now. After narrating her life story, Unity confesses to being Rose's great-grandmother. Overjoyed to reconnect with a family member, Rose wraps the old lady in a warm embrace, and the duo catches up on their respective lives. Rose tells Unity about Jed's disappearance, with the rich matriarch offering to cover all expenses to find him. As Rose prepares to leave to continue her hunt for Jed, Unity gifts her a gold amulet for good luck. Back in New Jersey, the Corinthian gets word of the emerging vortex and visits her apartment to find her. He is disappointed to discover she isn't there, but drops off his contact info with Rose's housekeeper Earl. Hoping she'd reach him, the Corinthian leaves the apartment and shortly after receives an invitation from an anonymous group hoping to meet him. Honoring their request, the Corinthian shows up and discovers the anonymous group is actually a trio of serial killers. The criminal group declares they've been superfans of him for years, revealing the Corinthian has been killing humans and gaining traction as a mass murderer. The group informs him of an upcoming serial convention and invites him to be the event's main guest. The Corinthian accepts their terms, but only does so on one condition. The organizers must let him bring a personal guest to the event. Eager to have him attend, they accept his condition and finalize the convention's details. Meanwhile, back in England, Rose and Lyda get a lead on Jed's whereabouts and travel to Florida to check it out. There, they check into an Airbnb and share the space with 6 other housemates: Hal, the house owner, Gilbert, an introverted reader, Ken and Barbie, a lively couple, and finally, Chantel and Zelda, a creepy but kind-hearted duo. Hal introduces Rose and Lyda to all the housemates except Gilbert, who is locked away in his room. After settling in, the duo chases their lead to the foster agency, where Jed was adopted. Rose tries to coerce Miss Rubio, the social worker, into revealing Jed's location, but the woman adamantly refuses, as it is against the law. Instead, she assures Rose that her brother is fine and discloses Jed's foster family were friends of their deceased father. Rose is relieved to hear this, but maintains her resolve to find Jed, no matter the cost. That night, when Rose and Lyda return to the house, they're welcomed by their flatmates and invited to watch Hal perform at a nearby club. Not having much to do, the duo accepts the invitation and follows them. In the club, Rose receives a call and heads out to answer it. Alone in an alleyway, she's cornered by two robbers who try to steal from her. As the thugs inch closer, an elderly man intervenes and fights off both men with Rose's help. As the robbers flee the scene, the kind stranger surprisingly introduces himself as Gilbert, the same housemate she didn't get to meet. After the introduction, Gilbert offers to walk her home, as the duo learn more about each other. In the dreaming, Matthew returns after spying on Rose the entire day and reports his findings to Lucien. He tells the royal librarian about Rose's missing brother Jed and details all her efforts to find him. Unfamiliar with Jed's name, Lucien checks the dreaming records to find the missing boy. Despite the realm's records containing updated information on every living mortal, Lucien doesn't find any recent data on Jed. Instead, she discovers his last documentation, dated months ago, was with the nightmare 𝐒𝐤𝐢𝐬𝐲. The royal librarian immediately heads to Morpheus's palace and reports the strange events to Morpheus. While the duo converse, a shocking twist occurs. Rose overhears their conversation from the human world and surprisingly invades the Dream Lord's palace and questions the duo on her brother's whereabouts. Meanwhile, back in the human realm, Jed is revealed to be alive but tormented at the hands of his foster father. One evening, while trying to run from home, Jed's abusive guardian catches him and forces the preteen into a car boot as a punishment for his escape.